Alrighty, so here we have a recording of getting to orbit in Kerbal Space Program with the starting parts only. Here we go. This took a couple tries and, okay, it took many tries, but I spent a lot more time actually setting up the rocket proper here. I did manage to do it once before I actually got it recorded, but I also recorded it, so this counts. But not that one. Okay, quick revert to launch, because loading in it exploded a bit. We're doing something that's not, strictly speaking, I'm entirely sure they ever intended anyone to do. Okay, so, to talk about the rocket bit, basically I am hot staging, and I'm doing my very best to do hot stage perfectly, and it is difficult. The reason there are a bunch of extra capsules on the last large stage is that without that, this thing became nigh uncontrollable and would just go in whichever way it happened to slightly tip first. But with those 8 capsules, it's pretty secure. We've got Valentina at the helm here, so again, hot staging, like at this point my eyes are lasers on this fuel gauge for each set. Then I set off the hot staging stage just a little bit before the previous stage runs out each time. And so as we go, the stages are set to use or to have longer and longer burn times in exchange for less thrust. So then after this one, I start to tip over. Yeah, so that was some really good hot staging. That was a really good run. Not nearly as good as the first one I did to get into orbit like this, because that only need like, I think maybe 50 meters per second after I got out of the capsule. But anyway, so we're still pretty dang low in the atmosphere to be doing this here. So, okay, so now, I don't want to actually speed up this low in the atmosphere, so gonna basically drift my way up. And, yeah. As we go on here, I kind of wish I had set it to so that it would be day while I was doing this, but I think a nighttime recovery still counts here. So got that set up, and then another hot stage, and it went very well. This is where it's random and can screw up a run really badly if the hot stage doesn't happen immediately. This one, that was slow, but acceptable. So right now I've just got my eyes lasered in on my apoapsis. And then, now, I don't want it too high. I don't want it too high. It can't be too high. And there we go. That's a really nice one. Then we get Valentina out. She's not going back in the capsule. She's on her own. So I forget how much they have, but the personal RCS thrusters do have an appreciable amount of delta V, so I'm abusing that to its full, mostly actually to get her safely back down. A lot of it is really used just getting her back safely to slow her down again. So as soon as so I waited until I was actually in space to push the rest of the way through here. And pretty soon, actually, I hit the, oop, there it is. There's the first little camera change. Yeah, it does 2 of them. The second one almost messed me up. So now, right now, I'm mostly looking at top right because since this is the first, since this is the mission in this game to get into orbit, it'll tell me once I'm actually in orbit, because otherwise I'd have to be constantly checking the map, and if I'm right about it, when you're not in a craft, you can't even tell your periapsis. So yeah, at this point I'm just waiting until I'm right at the apoapsis, because that I can easily tell just by when I start descending rather than ascending. And I know it's going to be a little bit of it's going to be a little bit of a burn here, so I get decently close, but I don't wait till it's 0. At least I don't think I do. Oh. Alright, I did screw that up. Oh well. So, burn time. Just a handful of seconds I actually needed here. And there it is. Orbit. Orbit. And then immediately, Valentina, turn around, go home. So then I'm going to use the entirety of the rest of the EVA to slow her down enough that she can survive solo re-entry, because, yeah, no, we didn't bring the ship. So, this was by far the most tense part, because I knew I did really good with the hot staging. That's the thing I have a decent amount of control over. This is also something I have a decent amount of control over for now, but as soon as I exhaust that EVA propellant, it's up to whether or not I did everything good enough. And I do use the very last drop of it. And there it goes. So I'm already in the atmosphere by the time I've used it all up. Yeah, no, there I just and leaned back. Okay, so we've got Valentina there. You know, just kind of floating backwards into the void. Although we can see plainly on the gauge that we're about to hit some heating. Yeah, there I'm just making sure it's not time compressed, because I'm worried that if I time compress it, it might likely decide that, or it might possibly decide that she is going to heat up enough to go poof. So yeah, no, got the red heat. The red heat is fine. Orange heat, worrying. Because normally if you just barely get enough, barely slightly out of orbit, then you'll just pop and you'll never actually see any flames. So, okay, so we've got the flames increasing in intensity, and then the moment they decrease, I'm safe. And yep, there we go, we're done. And again. Ugh. So now all I have to do is wait for her to get down. And because I don't want the run ruined, I'm going to generously increase her parachute deployment to 500 meters. So also at the very end, I pull apart the rocket just to show that there aren't any parts that are weird. These are just the parts that you start the very beginning of the game with. Nothing's researched, nothing's unlocked. Yeah, so as it might be obvious, I accidentally left the microphone recording while I did this take, but doesn't really matter. I mean, while I did the actual flight. So I think I'm over I think I'm over ground of some sort. No idea where. Not really important. I'll check where I put the flag later. And I just want to make sure that the time warp doesn't mess up the deployment. Poof, we got shoot. We're that much closer to home. I mean, I could have screwed up the parts after the heating started to go down, but realistically at that point, the run was safe. So then just bringing her down a little fast there. And then hard about to the side and full pitch up. And then that'll give you this nice slow landing. Not that you need it, you can basically go as fast as you want, as fast as it'll let you into the ground, but I wasn't going to mess up this run. I was initially just going to have her take off her helmet, but I'm like, no, this deserves a flag. Yay. There we go. Now it's been done properly. Okay, recover Valentina. Pardon me. And here's where I'm going to show the craft and just fully disassemble it. So there's nothing weird or funny going on. These are just the parts you start with. And I did not take 6 hours to figure this out and get a recording of it. I took 6 hours to get a recording of it and then voice over. Then we have another thing that said, yeah, we went to orbit. And then here's the craft itself, and it's auto, it pops up the one that I used last. We haven't seen me go in there, so this is going to be what I just flew. I did record this to a rather high quality, so yeah, okay, now here we go. I'm just going to tear the entire damn thing apart. I'm not sure why I put a parachute on it. Okay. Engine. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, fin. 12, 13. Then we've got that, the pods for control. 15, 16, 17, 18, and there goes the parachute. That's all there is. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching.